Welcome to T2T with Tom Pfeiffer and Ty Martin.
Let's talk about last weekend, or what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about last weekend. We were way off, like normal.
Way off. Samsonite. Damn it.
Was Novak last week, or was that the weekend before?
No, it was this week.
Okay.
Novak.
All right. I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, damn, I don't even remember who I took. I know I picked somebody out of the same fucking group.
And I picked I did pick Morikawa, but then I switched it to Rory.
Yeah, because we took Scheffler off the table.
Yeah. Because I would take Scheffler every time.
Yeah, I know.
And he almost lost it. John Rahm almost got it. So
yeah, well, fuck him.
But he faded too. How did Phil do?
Are we going to talk about that? Are we? Is this going to be our first LIV like busting balls edition?
LIV golfers can't finish a tournament. I mean, you got like two, Brooks and Bryson that are like legit PGA. I wish Bryson stayed in the PGA, man, but
I kind of do too. But I mean,
he might be the one that the PGA Tour will let back in. Like everyone else, they'd probably be like, because Bryson's still like, he's not even in his prime yet. And he has such a good presence online, social media, that no one else has.
He definitely does.
I love his YouTube channel.
And I don't watch it, so I mean,
honestly,
I the only podcast I think I've ever watched is ours.
Okay.
But
you watch the last one?
I just actually I don't even know if I did.
My students. So I was like, what was I doing? Oh yeah, one of my students was watching a podcast during my class while during work time and stuff, and I'm like, oh, podcast, nice. And my students are like, man, you should start a podcast. And I'm like, dude, I have one. Like they're like, oh, cool. Like, what do you talk about? And I'm like, golf. And then they're like, oh. So yeah, the PGA Championship happened. Pretty whole hum. There was one guy that basically led the whole way. His name was what was his name again? I forget.
Swami Slappy.
Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah,
Scheffler, man.
You so wanted to just say.
I know.
You wanted to say Scheffler so bad. You wanted to say it, but obviously you can't because he didn't win.
No, he did not. I don't think he made the cut. Even though Schauffele was out driving Scheffler, I did not know that Schauffele was such a beast off the tee. But watching him hit off the tee this weekend was pretty surprising compared to Scheffler.
Yeah, I've got to say that I was kind of surprised. I guess I just never registered about how far Scheffler hits the ball. I mean, they're pros. I mean, it is that it's that. But I guess I never realized that he hit the ball as far as he did. I know I think it was day 3 that there were quite a few holes that they had the wind of their back that promoted some longer drives, but I cannot confirm or deny that. So,
yeah, I mean, with Xander's body type though too. I mean, he's kind of a smaller guy, and he's out driving Scheffler by like 40 yards, and you're like, holy cow! Like, what the heck? Now, obviously, Scheffler, is dominant in all facets of the game compared to Schauffele. But I mean, still, when you get that distance, all of a sudden you start to get those clubs that are shorter in hand, and you're able to get closer to the hole. So
yeah, no, I mean, I didn't see a whole lot over the weekend. I saw more on Saturday than I did on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, I mean, Scheffler shot a 71 on Sunday.
And that's all he had to do because he was leading by so much. All he had to do was just basically shoot par, and then have guys come to him instead of him going to those guys, shooting too high, So
Yeah.
he just played it just right. He just basically parred, and that's all he had to do. Harris English had a day though. He shot
sure
a 65. Did. He shot a 65 in the last round,
Yeah.
to get tied for second, which is phenomenal. I mean,
yeah, he made a hell of a run on Sunday, and kudos to him for that. I mean, again, we've said it so many times, to be able to shoot par or under par, amazing. But yeah, he had a great Sunday. That was an impressive round. But I mean, not to take away from that, but Scheffler shot a 65 on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Scheffler 69, 68, 65. I mean, come on. That's just dominance, and especially with the conditions too. So I mean, you probably saw it in the headlines a lot too on Thursday and Friday. Scheffler was a huge naysayer on the mud balls.
Yep, you're right.
And a couple others as well. I think Scheffler and Scheffler were complaining about mud balls, and how you should have probably been playing up instead of playing the ball down on Thursday, especially with all that water, getting those balls all muddy. And like Scheffler said, they're professionals and they're used to controlling the ball. And when you have mud on the ball, you can't control the ball, so you don't know where the ball is going to go. And so that's why I think during the Green Mile, a lot of those guys were mishitting the ball, and you're like, wow, their second shot was always going in the water in the left. And well, it's because the mud. That's what Scheffler was saying, is that the mud was on the ball, and they were trying to shape it, and the ball did not shape the right way. So, I kind of agree that when the conditions are so poor, you should have that local rule, or that rule for that day, saying, hey, everyone has the same advantage now. Just lift clean in place. Right. Everyone's just going to have that same advantage. No one's going to have a different advantage. And right. Like you said, maybe during the day it dries up, and then so those afternoon guys might have an advantage of no mud on the ball, kind of thing. So playing it up was probably the right call for Thursday, but then playing it down for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday would have, probably gotten a lot less headaches, for the PGA Tour, so that the professionals, like the players like Scottie Scheffler, weren't complaining about how bad it was on Thursday. They've done it once before. I think it was like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, something like that. I was reading the article where they played the ball up on like a Friday or something like that because of the rain. But again, it's the PGA, and they don't want to put more rules into the game, I guess. And so that would be just one more rule that they would have to then follow and stuff like that. And I just think, to be fair, golf isn't fair. Golf is hard.
Golf is not fair.
you sometimes you get that good lucky bounce, but for the most part, it's a very difficult sport. And so then having mud on the ball, that doesn't give you a fair advantage to play the game correctly. And I agree with Scheffler. I think once you see the mud on the ball, you're like, come on, really? Like, you shouldn't be punished, being in the middle of the fairway, but then your ball is caked with mud.
And that falls right in like your ball landing in a divot.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be penalized for it. So, not to switch off topic, but I saw it on Twitter, and I did not research it, but I saw that I think it was 2020 that Scottie Scheffler has more wins in North Carolina than the Carolina Panthers do since then.
That's a funny stat. If that's true, that's hilarious.
It was 14 wins for the Panthers and 15 wins for Scheffler. And that's wins. It didn't say which tour or anything like that, but it said that Scheffler had more wins than the Carolina Panthers. And I want to say it was 2020. And I was like, oh man, that's a terrible stat.
And then you look it up.
For the Panthers.
Yeah. Well, Cam Newton, man,
Oh, he wasn't there in 2020. Come on.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They should have kept him.
Well, debatable. Debatable on that.
I know. Well, the Panthers always sucked anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Hey, they, after they benched Bryce Young, Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Once they benched him last year and then they brought him back for the last couple of weeks due to injury, he looked actually like the quarterback that they want. So, Panthers, I'm not saying they're
look at how he's backpedaling. Stop backpedaling. Just say they suck and call it a day.
Yeah, it's fine. They suck.
Anyway, so we digress.
Yeah, back to golf. But like I said, I don't know. I didn't research that stat, but it was if it is true, Scheffler has more wins in North Carolina than the Panthers do.
I tend to believe you, to be honest. I think that is a legitimate stat.
Well, I mean, the Panthers have been trash for 4 years, so
For sure.
Mean, when I read it, it definitely didn't surprise me. I mean, I laughed at it quite profusely, but
yeah. I also saw like if Scottie Scheffler like wins 52 more tournaments, he would then be the same percentage wise as Tiger Woods. Like Tiger Woods' percentage of winning is so high that Scottie Scheffler would have to win like 52 more times. So it's something crazy percentage wise that I saw in the article. So like I said, Scottie Scheffler, I believe, is like kind of like Tiger Woods 2.0.
Sure.
He's nowhere close to being Tiger Woods. Like it's still a huge, gap there between Scottie Scheffler and Tiger Woods. But I mean, when you see Scottie Scheffler in the field, you have to go with him, man. Crazy.
Well, and you and I talked a little bit off camera about this. With the LIV, there's a lot of golfers that are no longer with the PGA and they're with LIV. Scheffler's, I don't want to say that he's competing against the same amount of talent because that would be extremely disrespectful to the rest of the field. But a lot of big names are no longer in the PGA.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I know how much you dislike Phil.
How did Phil do again? Let's see here.
Garbage.
Okay. Let's
garbage. Did he even make the cut?
No, he didn't.
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't even think he made the cut.
Let's see here. I'm gonna look down. Brooks Koepka is a +9. He didn't make the cut. Zalatoris didn't make the cut. Unfortunately, Ricky Fowler didn't make the cut. I'm looking. Just 1 second. Hold, please. Where is he? What's that?
I want to say he missed the cut by like 2.
Phil Mickelson +9. So he missed it by like, I think, what was it? +2,
I think.
+2. Yeah. So +2. So he missed it by 7 strokes.
And
I just don't think
I will sleep better again knowing that he missed the cut. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'll tell everyone I don't like Phil. I've never been a Phil Mickelson fan ever. No.
You gotta engage those calves, man. You gotta love those calves. Come on.
Yeah. No.
I think Phil, as far as like short game, it's fun to watch him, but that's about it. I wasn't a big Phil fan either, so
I don't know about you, but or how you feel, but it's like when the LIV golfers come into a PGA event because they're sanctioned for winning before, they just don't seem to care. They just kind of come in like, oh, well, I'm here. And I mean, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. It just seems like they don't care.
So for me, what I see when I'm looking at LIV golfers when they play on the PGA Tour, I think that they're not ready for a PGA Tour event. And what I mean by that is like they're not used to playing 4 days straight. They're not used to the greens, being a certain way, the rough being a certain way, the distances as well. I think a lot of the LIV Golf like tournaments that they play in, they're a little bit more relaxed as far as like the toughness of courses, and
Okay.
like their preparedness of the course. So like the rough isn't as rough, the holes aren't as long, and I'm just basing it off of what I've seen,
Okay.
and what I've noticed when LIV golfers have been playing, and then also when they played PGA Tour events. I just think they're not prepared as well as they should be because they don't play as much, and I don't fault them at all. Like if I had a LIV golf schedule and I played 3 days on a weekend and then played 3 weeks from now, and I didn't have to play every weekend to make it to the next tournament or make it
Right.
my tour card or make it on my list. I might have taken a lot of these tournaments seriously, but in LIV Golf, you're on the team. Yes, you do have to play for your spot on the team, but you're pretty much sealed in there for the year. And hopefully your team wins. Hopefully you do the best. But if you don't, it's like, well, next tournament, kind of thing. I don't know.
Right.
That's how I feel when I watch LIV Golf stuff. So
I'm pretty much on the same page on that one. It just kind of seems like they come in just like meh, whatever.
yeah.
If I play good golf, I play good golf. If I can, stuff it down PGA's throat, I will. But if not, whatever. I'm still making my millions.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the LIV Golf list of players, and you have like your Dustin Johnson, your Martin Keimer, your Bryson DeChambeau, Sergio Garcia, Abraham Answer. You have Phil Mickelson, Kevin Na. I'm just trying John Rahm, Ian Poulter, Bubba Watson. You have Cameron Smith. Brooks Koepka. You have Taylor Gooch, Lewis Ooshausen, and then
But
you have
that kind
Jeffrey
of goes
Neiman.
against that kind of goes with what I was saying with, look at these names that are no longer in the tour. Not saying that Scheffler's a bad golfer and he can't win, X amount more, but those are some very large names that are no longer fighting against you.
Yeah, but they're like kind of washed up names though too. I mean, Dustin Johnson. I mean, he was kind of on the edge of retiring soon. Sergio Garcia, Phil
Oh, well,
Mickelson,
yeah.
Kevin Na. Those
Yeah,
guys are kind of Ian Poulter. Those guys are like, they're past their prime. They're kind of like, hey, I'm time to go to the Champions Tour. And that's one thing I would want to discuss with you too is so when they're done with LIV Golf, do you think the PGA Champion Tour would then accept these older guys? Because it's not really PGA Tour. I mean, it is PGA named, but it's not the tour itself. It's more of the Champions, kind of like an offshoot tournament, style. So would they accept those players?
that's a really good question.
You know. So that's what I was thinking when I was looking at this list.
Because, I mean, the PGA is pretty much in a roundabout way blackballed anybody from the LIV Tour. But no, you're right. That is a really good question. I mean,
So
so if Sergio Garcia wants to play on the Champions Tour, are they going to allow him? Or are they going to be like, no,
PGA is
go,
PGA. I don't
Pete,
know.
go play in the sandbox because you ditched us.
Yeah. And like not even that. Let's say like a Bryson DeChambeau or like a John Rahm when they get older, like 20 years from now, they're like, hey, can we now, be part of the Champions Tour? Like, hey, I've retired from golf, but I want to try and come back as a Champion Tour player. Like will they be like, okay, you paid your dues, you've been out of golf for like 10 years or whatever it is, would you want to now are we okay with you letting you back in? That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know.
That's a really good question.
So
That's a really good question. I'm gonna be out at the AmFam tournament in a few weeks out at TPC Wisconsin.
nice.
And I know a couple people out there. I'll ask them that and just be like, what's your take on it? Are they going to take live golfers when they are done / retire? Do you think the Champions Tour would take them?
Yeah, and that's something to think about. My answer probably right now would probably be no, but I know
I would agree.
But I know like the PGA has kind of, stopped. I know they've been talking like LIV Golf and PGA, and I don't know exactly what the details are, but they kind of like said fair enough, will not like, pursue anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to kind of like backdoor this and say LIV Golf, you can be part of the umbrella of PGA. I don't know if they're willing to do that yet, but I can see the PGA maybe doing something like that later on, when everything kind of settles down, and especially with LIV Golf. I mean, after the 4-year contract of most of these players, what are they going to do? Are they going to fold, or are they going to keep on, throwing money into this league and seeing if this league takes off? Because it hasn't really taken off yet. When I watch the LIV Golf stuff, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff going on the screen. There's leaderboards, there's people leading, there's scores here, there's teams here. What like it's just like filled, and then you have a little box that you can watch the guys play golf, and then all of a sudden they cut to another guy right away, and it's kind of like what's going on here?
I bet I haven't even watched 9 holes of the LIV Tour since it started.
I've watched here and there when I do catch it on TV, and again, it's one of those where if you do catch it, it's on CW or 18 or something weird channel.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh yeah, LIV Golf is on that channel, because like when you hit the guide, you kind of like scroll through like the lower channels, and you're like, oh, channel 18, oh, there's LIV Golf, and then I just go on it for like a half hour or so, and I'm like, nah, next, kind of thing. It's like, yeah.
I don't even give them 20 minutes. I seriously, like, I bet I've watched less than 9 holes of LIV since it started, but it's,
yeah,
I guess it's not because I dislike what they did. It's just kind of crappy broadcasting.
I think they're still trying to learn how does CBS and all the PGA Tour channels do it, because especially the first year, man, you were watching, and then all of a sudden you see like the camera kind of like jiggle around. You're like, what the hell kind of thing is this?
I mean, I can 100% say I have watched more TGL than LIV.
I agree with that as well. The TGL is okay too. I mean, it's it's
the thing that I like about the TGL is they're in their natural element. They're laughing, they're joking, they're screwing with each other. It's natural.
Yeah, and they throw the hammer down, which is kind of interesting.
You get to sit there. I mean, essentially they're pretty much gambling with each other.
Yeah,
and it shows more personality between the golfers. And I think that's what I like about it. I mean, obviously it's cool as hell that, they have a moving green and the tee box is, natural grass, and they bring it in and out. I mean, it's a cool concept.
That would be an awesome dream of mine, to have like a company outing there and playing on that. It would be so cool.
You need to not be a high school science teacher.
I know,
because I'll tell you, with what you're doing right now, it's never gonna happen. And
for sure.
for myself, with what I do as a project manager in construction, it's never gonna happen.
I know. You would have to spend like $100,000.
I mean, it's always nice to be invited to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always nice to be invited to the party, but let's be real. You and I are never going to be able to do that.
And that's why I said it was a dream.
Touche. Fair enough.
But I wouldn't mind going to it, like the event there. I know they were selling out pretty quick, but so I think there's like 200 tickets per event or something like that. 200 plus.
Something like that. We're talking about maybe trying to go to Florida in the fall. And I'm kind of trying to get the schedule figured out so I can base where we go and what we do. because I mean, with Lindsay being a big golfer, it'd be cool to go to the TGL. I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on price because I'm not paying astronomical amounts to go watch guys hit a ball into
a screen.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, they are pretty darn close, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if you had the opportunity, say you were on vacation or you planned the trip, what would the dollar amount be for you to go to that, to where you'd say it's acceptable versus, nope, I'm not paying that?
I would say my limit would probably be like $200. So like
Really?
anything more than $200, I'd be like, that's a little bit too steep for me. Dude, you got to think about it. It's like 3 hours plus of entertainment, and you're probably within like maybe 50 feet of all the players, and you get to sit there, concessions, drinks, whatever. I don't know exactly, I'm sure they charge for food and stuff like that, but I'm sure the first season they didn't, or it was very minimal,
I guess I would. I think of what like if I go to a concert, what a ticket is, or go to a Brewer game, or just a sporting event in general. I guess $200 isn't unreasonable. At first, when you said that, I was like, shit, I'd never pay that. But no, I mean,
it's like 3 hours, and you get to see, 10 pretty high named, players on the PGA, tour. So,
and you're up close, you're up front, you get to see it live. No, you're right. You're right. I guess $200 would be within reason.
But anything more than that, I'm like, it would kind of sting a little bit, unless I got like a golf ball signed by Tiger Woods or something.
Oh, you'll just catch them in the parking lot and Nancy Kerrigan them.
I would never do that to Tiger Woods. His legs are already screwed up enough.
I was gonna say, you can't hurt him any worse. I mean, come on.
But yeah, so yeah, LIV Golf is the TGL is pretty good, but again, I think it's still kind of they're still trying to figure out the formulation of it.
TGL is very entertaining.
I agree. I haven't seen it as much. I do record it and I watch some of it, and I'm like, okay, let's watch something else, kind of thing. Again, I think they're still trying to figure out some of the stuff.
Did you see they're adding a new team?
Okay, that could be one of the ads. Yeah,
they're adding a 7th team, Detroit. I didn't see the name. Oh, I saw the name of the team, but I don't remember what it was. But so that's coming in 26.
No, I don't know. You would know more than I would.
I think it was 27.
That makes sense though, because I mean, obviously these professionals, what's more important to them? It's time. So like, do they want to play in the TGL, every other weekend? Probably not. So adding another team probably gets them to, be on vacation a little bit longer. So they're like, oh, well, I can do it once a month. That sounds good to me,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I think that's one of the selling parts for LIV Golf. Oh, you only get to play 3 days, and it's once a month, and they're like, oh, geez, and I get how much, so.
Well, it's got to be a good selling point to the guys that play in it. Like you just said, you get to. What's the worst thing? Oh, every 3 weeks or every 2 weeks, I got to go golf with my buddies.
Yeah, down in Florida.
Darn it! I have to go to Florida and golf with my friends and talk smack the whole time and
get paid X amount of dollars, whatever it is.
And you got half the country watching. I mean, maybe half the country's exaggerating, but you know where I'm going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. All right. So we digress once again.
Yep. So what do we got coming up this week?
It looks like the Charles Schwab. And that's another name. That's another name I like to say, Schwab.
The Charles Schwab. Now, it's in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yep. Colonial Country Club.
Correct.
And people were saying, is Scottie Scheffler going to win 3 in a row?
Scheffler is in the field. 12:45.
Yep.
12:45.
Yep.
Okay, you can't take him. We already made that rule.
I know. Damn it. All right. Ricky Fowler, 1234.
I'm taking Gary Woodland.
Gary Woodland.
Actually, no, I want to take Matt Kuchar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to, you know what? So, fun fact, Matt Kuchar used to be one of my favorite golfers to watch until he screwed over his caddy in Mexico. He gave him like $300 and he won the tournament.
Really?
Yeah, so I believe this is the story. He went down to Mexico, the Mexico Open or something like that. It was early on in the season, and his caddy either got hurt or couldn't make it. So he had some kind of like fill-in caddy from like the club or around the area, and Matt Kuchar wins it. And I guess he gave him like $300, or it wasn't even like close to the recommended like 10%,
Right.
caddy fee. And so he just got berated. And I guess this isn't the only time he's done something like that, or like or did something kind of negative on the tour. So he's kind of lost favor in my eyes a little bit.
Okay, I after learning that, I retract. I'm going back to Gary Woodland.
I mean, you got Andrew Novak back in. I mean,
no, I'm going back. I'm going back to Woodland. Okay, so again, everybody, don't bet on Woodland.
Don't bet on Woodland.
I'm sorry, Gary Woodland. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Oh wait, it looks like he withdrew just now.
Yeah.
Oh, it says because of Ty Martin bet on Gary Woodland, he has withdrawn from the tournament.
I'm just waiting, someday
for us to be correct.
Well, that too. But, when we get many more episodes deep, if any of these pro golfers, ever listen to it, be like, listen here, you rat bastard. Why don't you come caddy for me so you can watch me win and shove it up your,
I mean, I would gladly caddy for a professional.
I don't want to carry that bag. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Hell no. That thing weighs more than me.
We're not doing a caddy shack here. It'll be fine.
That bag weighs more than me.
No, it does not.
Well, obviously I'm being exaggerated. Come on.
I know you can't lift that much, but I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
So who's your take, Mr. Smartass?
I mean, I've been looking at these names. Scottie Scheffler. Let me just look at some of these groupings here. Let's see here. I mean, there hasn't been so 733, the Brian Harman, Matsuyama, and McNeely. That's a pretty good pairing. Grouping. You know what? I think Jordan Spieth. I mean, I kind of like him. 755. What's the can you look up what the weather's going to be like in Fort Worth, Texas this weekend?
50% chance of rain.
Ew. Okay, mud balls. Oh, great.
No, I just totally threw that out there. Okay. If I was a weatherman, that's what I say every single time. 50% chance of rain.
If the rock is wet, it's raining.
Yeah. If the rock is gone, hurricane.
I'm gonna go with Jordan Spieth, a big, kind of a big name.
Nerd.
I know.
Nerd. It's fine. It's fine.
I know. Jordan Spieth it is.
All right. So that's our matchup to not bet on this week.
Yeah, so don't bet on, who do you have again? Woodland? Gary Woodland?
I got Gary Woodland.
And I have Jordan Spieth. Okay, so those two guys will probably win in the next couple weeks, but not this week.
That's very, very possible.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Like we said, don't bet on our picks or bet against them. Your pick.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Let's go. Let's
See
go,
ya.
Spieth. See ya.